Why, hello there, everyone. Welcome to PlayFrame, and welcome to Citizen Sleeper. This is an indie game that came out last year that I heard a lot of praise for. It's a kind of narrative sci-fi dystopian dice-based game that, from what little I've seen, is super cool. So I suspect it might be something that is way up some of y'all's alley. Let me show you a little bit of it. We probably won't be able to get very far in just one episode, but even so, you should get the idea. So, new game, and I just barely got anywhere in this. Let's go ahead and just erase this one and start fresh. Continue. So, first we will choose our character class. We have 3 options to choose from: the operator, the extractor, or the machinist. So let's see. A machinist repairs and modifies automated systems used in industrial resource extraction. Sleepers assigned to machinist work are usually diligent, careful, and structured people. So we're going to see kind of like one of the systems for how this game works here. We have kind of just some stats. There's the engineer skill, work with machines and physical tools. The interface skill, working with digital interfaces. The endure skill, using strength or strength of will. Intuit, for approaching problems with awareness, and engage for approaching a problem head-on. The class you choose basically not only gives you a +1 and a -1 in each of these skills, which are going to affect your dice rolls later, and will affect how, story things go, but also you have a perk. So the machinist has Efficient Extractor, a chance to gain a random scrap item on engineer actions. So that's the machinist. The operator works with drones and high-precision remote machines to perform complex tasks from a distance. Sleepers assigned to operator work are usually cerebral and precise people. As an operator, you have Transfer Intercept, a chance to gain cryo on interface actions. Cryo's the currency in this setting. +1 to interface, but -1 to endure for this one. And then there is the extractor, who works on resource extraction, often in hard vacuum environments. Sleepers assigned to extractor work are often confident, self-sufficient, and have a high level of endurance. This one has photosynthetic skin. The sun-bathed dice action allows energy recovery at home, which is pretty cool. -1 to intuition, but +1 to endurance. I find that, remote, drone work and high-precision stuff, operator sounds kind of interesting and also has a very cool look. So let's go ahead and try that one out. Start game. Get ready for a lot of reading from me today. The first thing you become aware of on waking is the disconnect, a delay between thinking and feeling, between wanting to act and acting. Minor, almost imperceptible, but always present. It's at its worst when waking, when your self has spent many dark hours recalling what it felt like to be real, to be a person, to be in a body that was indisputably yours. So we can think of that body, or forget that body. Which is quite a choice to have to make upon waking up in an unknown location, with no items or money. Let's think of that body. A leap into a cold lake on a hot day. The sting of blood welling from a fresh wound. The friction of a fingertip. All of a sudden, the memories are closer than you thought, blurring as you approach, until you can't tell one from the other. The cold slips in, behind and around you, and sensations fade out of reach. Perhaps you should be thankful for the dulled nature of this new body, given your current circumstances. The walls of the container feel immediately present. Cold, hard, at your back and face, cramping your limbs. You resist the desire to stretch, knowing that the claustrophobia comes next, and retreat a little from your central nervous system. It isn't painful, not like you used to know pain, at least. In emergency mode, pain is a message delivered with efficiency and ease, a reminder that harm is imminent. There is no insistent throb, no trembling nerves, just a warning delivered with the banal quality of a digital notification. Right now there are thousands of them. Remember the plan, or remember the others. Let's remember the others. You remember there were 10 of you. 10 that could no longer stand the indentured work, the routines, the slow decay. 10 whose belief in their promised future was slowly dismantled day by day, until they realized they'd sold away everything that could and would ever matter. 10 that would escape, or at least die trying. Some were lost in the shaft, others never found the meeting point. Only a few made it to the containers, but the freighter, as far as you know, left. That feels like enough to know that you might no longer be on that grim and heartless rock. Even if, in the airless hold of a freighter, you might freeze solid long before you reached any destination. Do we wait for the cold or try to rest? Let's wait for the cold. That's all there is now. It's been a long time since you left. Surely weeks, maybe months. You're duly aware of damage to your legs, your right arm. You've been reserving energy as much as possible, but your body's still needed to shut down many of its systems to protect you. You've spent much of that time asleep, knowing that anything else would be impossible to endure. You feel the weight of that impossibility begin to gather. It's time to sleep again, to nudge this false body into inducing delta waves in your emulated mind, and once again recoil into a dream of when you were once a person. Let's rest. Time passes. The cold creeps further in. You feel something. Warmth. Not true warmth, but the indication of its presence. Your joints release from their rigor. Sound, too, everywhere, screeching and shimmering so loud that your body ducks your hearing to protect its sensors. Then light, white as the cold, softer and softer, until, in a haze of dirty yellow, a figure appears. You're out. And here we are, our setting. And with just one location to go to right now, Dragos, the pragmatic salvager. There they are. It's been a few hours since Dragos pulled you from the container. You sit huddled in a corner of this scrapyard, swaddled in the reflective folds of a mylar blanket. You're slowly coming back to consciousness, back to life, and you stare at the ornately curving element of an improvised heater. You're surrounded by angular, incoherent lumps of ships, some corroded beyond recognition, others still carrying glassy wounds along their edges where a plasma arc sliced them apart. As you trace their shapes with fogged eyes, you hear a voice. "So, sleeper, you all thawed yet?" Let's respond. Almost. "Never seen one of you come in like this. New frames must have better perseverance in sub-zero vac. Seen more than a few of you frozen solid to hull plates or inside-outer locks in my time. They weren't so lucky." Dragos comes into focus, shrouded in makeshift tech, his headset with its glinting eyes the mark of a drone operator. On his shoulder, one of his symbiotically linked drones perches, its irising eye locking you with an unflinching stare. "The last living sleeper that came through this yard was a while ago. They didn't last long." You struggle to read his expression beneath the tech, but he seems lost in memory for a moment. Or perhaps he's just figuring out what to do with you. What happened to them? He ignores your question. "I won't ask what led you to do it. To sell yourself to a corporation. I suppose you know you can't go back. Your old body, that's theirs now. And you're just software. A rogue emulation illegally possessing corporate property." You nod along. You remember biometrically signing the forms, the cold floor on your feet as you padded to the sleeper cells, the promise of a life off-world. But as you do, you get the now familiar sensation that these aren't your memories. These are things you know, but not things you feel. You're no longer that person. You're an offshoot, a copy. What you won't know is what's ahead. At least the last one didn't. There's no easy way to put it. That body of yours is falling apart. It's the same for any sleeper who makes it out. S&ARP wants to protect their property, but if they can't keep hold of you, well, then no one can. You remember that too, or at least rumors of it from the other sleepers. Planned obsolescence, a built-in dependence on the regularly administered supplements that were part of your routine. Stop taking them, and your body begins to shut down, separate from your emulated mind. How long has it been? How long do you have? But for now, sleeper, you're one of the lucky ones. Dragos glances up and away towards the glassy dome of the yard. The eye is the best place you could be right now. The eye? The station. You'll see soon enough. Dragos impatiently shifts his weight. Look, I've got things to be getting on with. He trails off. There's an old freight container I've been using as storage out in the stacks. We haven't been pulling in much valuable scrap these days, so you're welcome to it. Something wells up inside of you. Emotion. Fatigue. You shakily get to your feet. Nod. All right, you head on up there. You look like you need some rest. And with that, Dragos stalks back into the Rex, his drones already converging on a rusting hulk, plasma flashes silhouetting his spindly figure as he returns to work. And here we are in the tutorial. Welcome to Erlin's Eye. Life on the Eye runs in cycles, during which you can talk to characters, explore areas of the station, and perform actions. At the end of each cycle, you need to head to your current home to rest. Resting will move time forward on the station. Head to the empty container location to rest and end the cycle now. Already? Empty container, you're home for now. And here, we can end the cycle. All cycles need to end. Rest and prepare for the next one. So what a heck of a strong vibe out the gate, yeah? You wake curled up in the corner of the container and begin slowly assembling the world around you. After all this time, you still find this body, the one you wake in now, strange and disjointed. Its messages readable but somehow wrong. You sit up, pulling the mylar blanket close against the cold. Here you are, on this ruined station, millions of miles from anyone you know. Are you still in the system? Did any of the others make it out? It's impossible to know. After all this, what matters? Do we escape? Do we get answers? Or do we build a life? I kind of like that one. Maybe you did get lucky, finding yourself here. Maybe here, on the edge of everything, there's a life for you to build. But before you can build anything, you'll need to learn to survive. Maybe if you can do that, you can make a life for yourself. Dragos has left a few comforts in the container. The mylar blanket, the bedroll you slept on, a canister of water, a makeshift electric stove, and some faded sachets of some desiccated powder. You thumb the power stud of the stove and begin to boil the water. The contents of the sachets smell like damp wood, and you sprinkle them into the liquid. As the pungent smell washes over you, images from your restless sleep come back to you. A ring, like the station, but skeletal and ghostly. A web of threads pulling at your skin. A constellation of bright polygonal shapes, like angular suns burning into your mind. There's something unpleasantly visceral about these images, and it's long after you've finished drinking before they begin to fade. You tidy away the stove as best you can and try to gather enough energy to greet the day. All right, so now we get to how the mechanics of this game work. Condition, action dice, and energy. All the stuff to do up in the top of the screen here. So, the first thing, that first line up there, is your condition, representing the current state of your artificial body. It depletes by one segment each cycle, but can also be damaged by violence, injury, or lack of food. If your condition bar empties, you will suffer a breakdown. You'll have to figure out how to recover your condition now that you no longer have access to corporate pharmaceuticals that were keeping you alive. Second row of things here are your action dice. At the start of each cycle, you roll your action dice. These dice can be used to perform actions on the station. The number of dice rolled is based on your current condition. The worse your condition, the fewer dice you have. Once you've used your dice, you cannot take any further actions and must rest to recover them, ending the current cycle. And the third line here is your energy. You also need to eat to survive. This is represented by your energy bar. You can refill your energy bar by eating, but first you'll have to find somewhere to get food. Your energy depletes by 2 segments each cycle. If it becomes empty, you'll be starving. When starving, energy loss becomes condition loss, and your condition will also deplete at a double rate per cycle, which is bad. So, let's not that. But okay, let's leave here for now. Dragos is standing in the corner when you close up the container. He's still wearing his headset, and in the harsh light of the corridor, you realize it is implanted. A drone sits on his shoulder, its cache of sensor eyes rapidly irising. How are you feeling? Okay, considering. The drone chirps. Good to hear. you notice that beneath the operator's rig, his skin is marked by burns and blotches. I know the container isn't much, but it'll keep you safe. He pauses. So, I'm not gonna chit-chat too long. You well enough to work? Sure. All right then, he nods. At the yard, it's simple stuff. We hack these old hulls down, sell them off to the shipyards or the bright market dealers for cryo. Occasionally we pull out some tech, something with a bit more value, but most of what comes in is scrap. It's hard to find good hands here, but I figure as a sleeper you'll be used to the manual labor, and obviously I'll slip you a few chits of commission based on what you turn up. Chits? These. He pulls out a handful of small metal bars. Air-walled cryo, isolated from the market. It's what we use for trade out here. He stuffs them back in a pocket. He shuffles his feet nervously. Look, I wouldn't usually do this. In my opinion, you'd be best suited moving on as quick as you can, and sleepers, well... He trails off. But things being the way that they are for me at the yard... He pauses. I need the help. Why? Things are a little tight, that's all. I owe a little cryo to a client here or there. He pauses, thinking of something else to add. Look, just come down to the yard when you're feeling fresher. There's plenty to do. Will do. He nods distractedly and turns and walks away, the drone hopping along ahead of him. See you later, he calls back. Looks like it's time to get to work. So let's do. So, there's our empty container. Let's head to Dragos' yard. So, actions. Actions are the primary way you interact with the world of Citizen Sleeper. To perform an action, click and drag your chosen action dice to that slot. So these are two examples of actions here. Actions reward you clock progress, energy condition, or items, depending on their outcome. There are 3 types of outcome. Positive, the action goes better than expected. Neutral, in which the action succeeds, or negative, in which the action fails. Action dice affect these outcomes as follows. A 6 gives you 100% chance of a positive outcome. A 5 gives you a 50% chance positive or 50% chance neutral. A 3 or a 4 will gives you a 25% chance positive, 50% chance neutral, and 25% chance negative. A 1 or a 2, it's the best you can hope for is neutral, 50% chance negative outcome. Actions display information about their type, risk level, and the skill and modifiers that apply to that action. So first, you'll see the type of action kind of up top here. These are either critical or repeatable. Critical actions can only be performed once. Then there's the risk level. These will either be listed as safe, risky, or danger. A safe one means no loss of condition, energy, or cryo. A risky one means a negative outcome could mean cryo or energy loss, and a dangerous one means a negative outcome means condition loss, and even a neutral one could mean cryo or energy loss, so rough. Next is skill, engineer or endure here. The skill that this action requires, either engineer, interface, endure, intuit, or engage. And lastly is the modifier off to the top right here, either -1, 0, +1, or +2. This is added to the action dice when slotted and improves its value. Some actions require a +1 to perform. So this is basically just the mechanic of the game. Like, it's a narrative game in which you roll dice to see what the outcome of your actions is, and that's kind of how like the story unfolds based on some level of chance and your choices. Which is a really simple system, but also kind of elegant and cool. So, here's our first choice here. We've got 2 repeatable actions. Hull desiccation, an engineering skill, which we're pretty neutral on, or manual salvage, which is an endure skill, which we kind of aren't the best at. Let's see. This one's risky, this one's safe. Then we got the cycle clock here. A debt called in. Dragos is tied up in something ugly, and if he misses a payment or 2, things could get messy. So we've got basically a set amount of time based on cycles before this debt gets called in. So that one's just set to time. This other thing here, back in business, every salvager knows they're always just one lucky haul away from their next payday. This is one, I think, that we can be working toward by doing these repeatable actions. So let's start out with we'll use our best dice here, the 5, on hull dissection. I think I said like desiccation or something earlier. That's not what it is. Come on. There you go. So, let's start the action. Positive, hooray! So, okay. Clocks. Actions often progress clocks. Clocks are displayed below the actions that fill them, and they track your actions and how they affect the world. Filling a clock means something good or bad is about to happen. Some clocks, such as the one tracking Dragos' debt, are cycle clocks. These clocks tick themselves once each cycle and can complete without player input. Any active cycle clocks will be displayed on the icon for that location, which is what this one is. Or I guess that's what these both are. But this is one that we're actually influencing. So, got +2 to back in business, and we also got some cryo, which is cryptocurrency stored in air-walled sticks of memory known as chits. So we got a little money, and progress that forward. The rest of our dice are less great, so let's try a safe action. Manual salvage here. Let's just... I guess, like, it's a safe action, so let's just use our ones. We've got 2 ones, which sucks. Not great. So, drives and navigation. In Citizen Sleeper, you will unlock drives as you discover more about yourself and the world. Drives guide you in pursuing specific objectives, depending on which path you wish to take. You can track drives, and any tracked drive will place a yellow marker on locations that will help you pursue your goal. You see those here. Access your drive menu via the arrow button at the top left of the screen. So this is basically your quest and objective list. You can't do all of it, as I understand it. This is just choosing different paths available to you with your limited time and resources. You are now free to explore Erland's Eye and make a life for yourself here. Try tracking a drive to help you survive. Look for food to keep your energy up and a way to recover condition. Fill the clocks to progress stories and find new opportunities. And remember to end the cycle at your home when you run out of dice. Use the mouse wheel or W and S to scroll along the station. Rotate the view with A and D. Good luck. Here we go. Negative outcome. Dang. But it was a safe action, and we got a little bit of cryo, but we did not move back in business forward as a result. Let's leave, because we've got a new... we got 2 drives right now. We've got repaying Dragos. So Dragos pulled you out of the salvage and set you up. Perhaps you can repay his kindness in time. So we could try to help pay off Dragos' debt by doing this, probably before this happens. The other one, though, is survive. You need access to corporate pharmaceuticals. Otherwise, this escape attempt will come to a rapid end. We need to find a doctor. That seems like a thing to prioritize so that we can live long enough to do this other thing. Let's track this. And let's leave this area for now. Because we have more options. So these... I wonder, what do these symbols mean? It's like cycle-based stuff, yeah? So let's drop into Dock C4, the Rotunda Wet Dock. Let's see. Merchants willing to run the gauntlet of the Helion system are rare, but those that do always return, eventually. So, okay, so this is a sort of thing that will just, any given cycle, something might be going on here. Seems like. Nothing to do here right now, though. Kind of the same for Dock B2, seems like. Yep. It takes several cycles to reach this starward belt and return, loaded with scrap from old wrecks. We've got the Rotunda here. And also Bright Market, a bustling open market. That's the one with a little yellow marker, so I think that's what we're going to be needing to do next. Also, we could get passage to low end. Let's start with this. Also, we can view our character at any time, which is nice. And also, the sorts of things we could get with upgrade points once we have them. We could increase some of our skills, maybe get this one out of the red, or increase interface even further. Make it to where agent nodes give double data rewards. That seems kind of cool. So, like, with one upgrade point, we could get this out of the red and just up to 0. With, I assume, another one, we could get ourselves photosynthetic skin. Or maybe we get that when it's just... No, I think each one of these is a stage, because, like, all of these are just set at 0, right? But this one, the one we're especially good at, we've got 0 and this special like feet basically, and a +1 to our rolls. So, cool. Figuring it out. Let's check out Bright Market. We got 2 options for gaining local knowledge. Asking for directions, which is dangerous. Why wander when there are hundreds of people that live and work within Bright Market? All you need is the courage to approach them. Seems like a bad idea given the dice we have at our disposal. Seems like a danger is one you only want to use a 6 on, basically, unless you're just feeling real lucky. Even this one's risky, though. Explore the market. The smells, sounds, and buzzing activity of the Bright Market makes it a dizzying place to wander, but an enticing one, too. Let's give it our best chance, man. Oh, come on. There you go. It's not... like, it's okay chances, but we may be paying for it. Neutral, I'll take it. We have 1 local knowledge. You explore the flow of the people and start to appreciate, even enjoy, the chaotic layout of the markets. I might wait till next cycle to do this, because I've only got 1 more dice to do this on. Let's, play it. Wait, maybe we have enough local knowledge to meet Sabine the Slum Doctor. Awesome, good. Thank goodness. Next comes the call from the enforcer at the door. You shuffle down the flickering hallway towards the open apartment door. You keep your head down and your shoulders high in the queue, trying not to bring attention to yourself. You were thankful for the tip-off that a doctor was operating out of this place, but now that you're here, you aren't so sure. The gang enforcer on the door, the flickering light strips, the decaying hab block, they've all made the long queue a test of your nerve. But your options are few, and without a supply of stabilizer, this body, your body, will. You suppress a shiver and shuffle forward to the front of the queue. You try to find something to distract yourself. Let's look inside. You lean against the door frame and look into the apartment. The entryway is dark, punctuated by the green indicators of stacks of sealed containers. You lean in and see amber light filtering through a far doorway, screened with plastic sheeting, beyond which blurred shapes move. The slap of the enforcer's palm against the doorway jerks you awake. "Wait your turn," he growls. After a few moments, a figure pushes through the doorway and you catch a distant voice. "Send the next one in, Toshiro." The enforcer jerks his head and you slip inside, passing through the dark entryway and pushing through a plastic sheeting on the far door. The room beyond is bathed in warm light. A floor-to-ceiling transparent panel gives you full view of the Bright Market's sealed roof and the buzzing traffic above, and for a moment, you're transfixed by the motion. "Come, sit," calls a sharp voice, and you see a silhouetted figure turned away, replacing the plastic sheeting over the frame of a simple folding bed. You make your way across the room. The figure turns, and as they do, you see an expression of confusion flash across their features. They open their mouth as if to speak. They blink, and then quickly regain their composure. "Please sit." They gesture to the bed, then turn to an open case of tools on the table. You sit. Sabine turns, a compact diagnostic scanner of some kind in their hand. They hold it to their eye. "Remain still, please." Their tone is clipped and businesslike. You stare ahead, still dazed from their expression when you first entered. Fear, recognition, sadness, unmistakably etched across their face. "How long have you been on the station?" they ask, the scanner still to your eye. "I honestly don't know. Probably more than a few cycles, based on how long we were in the box." They lower the scanner and meet your eye. "You can talk." They glance toward the doorway. "I know the conditions aren't ideal, but I need you to be honest with me." They make some adjustments to the scanner. "Or you can leave." They set the diagnostic scanner on the table. "I'm going to start by assuming you don't know anything." They take your arm and roll up your sleeve, inspecting your synthetic skin. "Your body is dying." They say it without ceremony, without drama, but not without empathy. S&ARP doesn't like to see its proprietary technology let loose, to prevent bodies like yours, frames as they call them, from being stolen, repurposed, or, in your case, escaping. They built in a process of so-called planned obsolescence. Frames decay rapidly when not regularly injected with stabilizer, one which S&ARP remains the sole producer of. They look up. Sound familiar? How do you know this? They shift in their seat. You aren't the first sleeper I've encountered. You wait for more, but they go back to their inspection. They swap to your other arm, running some thin metal device under your skin. You feel your forearm tremble. I'm sorry, Sabine says, and you're unsure if they mean for the cold touch of the metal or everything else. Emulations like you, sleepers, as most people know you, aren't classified as people in any of the surrogate systems. You have no rights, no status. They focus hard on the inspection of your arm, and S&ARP has no reason to release stabilizer into the market. Sabine looks up as if to apologize again, but they stop themselves. I know little of this is of use to you. They turn away, disassembling the metal instrument and cleaning it. Silence fills the room as Sabine works, and then the silence gives way to tension. You stare at their back, willing them to say something, anything. Sabine turns to face you. I may be able to help. They sigh, and you see the darkness under their eyes, hear the fatigue in their voice. They gesture to the door. You saw Toshiro outside? You nod. He works for my benefactor, Yadigan. They're influential in the low end. They give me this space to work, run the door, and take the profits. At the same time, I have to fix up their enforcers, tend to their implants, sew up their wounds. They look away. But Yadigan has connections. Smugglers from the Starward Belt, mercenaries working for the corporations on Emper. If they can source the stabilizer, maybe he'll have a better chance. Sabine sets down their slate, their notes complete. This is dangerous. And it'll be expensive, but I think we can do it. Why help me? Sabine walks away to the window, their face dappled by the shadows of passing drones. Let's just see if this works first. I'll let you know when I have a lead. You nod and leave. Sabine still staring out, unmoving. When you reach the lower level of the market, you look back through the panels of the roof to see if you can see their face, but the room looks dark against the lights of the market. You duck your head and walk off into the crowd. All right. Well, now we have to wait for Sabine to acquire stabilizer, which is, I think, going to take cycles. So, yep, gonna have to wait on that one. Let's see what else. Could poke our head in the rotunda. We could steal dock plans. Goodness. So we got two different things we can try to achieve here. We could try to get to know the rotunda. Or getting to know the rotunda doesn't just mean new places to visit, it means keeping your eye on new arrivals too. But also, Havenage runs the rotunda and their security watches the docks, better to avoid attracting their attention. The rotunda of the old dock is filled with passageways and concourses leading to all kinds of docking bays, so if we fail exploring enough times, we will end up on the watch list. But if we can steal dock plans successfully, we can become a dock watcher, which seems useful, but not something to dabble in with a 1. But we do still have a dice to roll. Could also go to construction yards? Interesting, there's more work we could do here. Assist the shipbuilder, haul materials, neither one very good for us. Let's see, what else? It's definitely not something to do here, yeah? No, okay. Could look in the passage to low end. It takes a toll to go to the low end. Good to know. We haven't got that yet. Could explore the market more, but we have a 1. Let's do the one safe option available to us before ending the cycle. And see if we can be a little bit more helpful, but with that 1, not likely. Let's try. Neutral, wow, boy, really getting lucky here. Whew, okay, well, that is us out of dice, so that's it for this cycle. Let's, I think, yeah, let's head home. And end the cycle. We are starving. This time, you don't wake up. Instead, the ghost of the station, that shifting skeletal ring, surrounds you. For a moment, you're gone, absent from your own body, stretched out across a colorless void. Then the connections begin to establish themselves, threads tugging on the edge of your mind. These threads become vectors of exchange and then extensions as you feel your thoughts slipping away down them, dissolving into the millions of distributed nodes they connect to. You see the station. No, you feel the station, like a web of texture in a smooth, black liquid. Do we observe it or touch it? Let's observe. We're an observer. Even though you have no eyes, no sight, you see/feel the map of the station. No, not the map of the station, but the map of its connections. It's a looped cloud with spokes and spires that jut out into space. It's an ingrown thing full of obsolete loops and severed pathways. It's a system, a map, and a territory, all at once. You notice a tugging feeling, pulling at you insistently, as if it were a small child. Somehow it's pulling in two directions at once. You look down. All of a sudden, everything shuts off. You come back trembling into this unfamiliar body, both yours and not yours, all at once. You find yourself standing in the container, eyes now open to the dark steel walls. You feel a change within you, a shift. You close your eyes for a second and you feel it waiting there, the station splayed out across your mind, a storm of connective nodes waiting to be explored, and then it's gone. We are fading a bit, and we've only got 3 dice this time, but one of them is a guaranteed success, and that's pretty exciting. Where to spend that one guaranteed success? Any developments here? No. Oh, gonna have to wait 2 more cycles for that, so let's wait in cycles for these as well. How much time do we have here? Okay, we're ahead of schedule on this one. That feels good. Let's see if we can learn more about this station. We could try spending this 6 here to steal dock plans and get to know the place very quickly. Alternatively, Alternatively, we can ask for directions to gain local knowledge, which I think is going to... I think that's going to speed this up faster. Or get us, like... This might get us something... We can get to this goal sooner. Maybe even in one successful roll. So let's do it. Begin action. Yes. Wow, that got us a lot of local knowledge. Good to know. You end up at a drink stall, debating the finer points of the Solheim collapse. You try to remember all the tips of your companions offer you. The Bright Market is the busiest part of the Eye's lower rim. You can find anything and everything here. Hopefully food on account of the starving. New drive discovered, though. Build a ship mind. You've heard talk of a fabricator owned by the Ord Exchange. With that and a few fragments, you could build a ship mind core. Very interesting. That's cool. But also surviving. Still waiting on that one. But here's a new thing. Emphas. Street food vendor. Oh boy, that's what we need. Emphas is busy, his broad face uplit by the makeshift gas burner in front of him. With precise, delicate movements, he lays thick chunks of marinated fungus into a dented wok, his other hand idly tossing a metal bowl of sliced vegetables in some red-flecked dressing. The smell is incredible. You watch as he fulfills a set of orders, heaping the fungus with the bright salad and depositing it in plastic trays. A stack of chits rattles in his apron pocket as customers file past the burner, handing over payment. Let's approach. You join the queue. It's mostly made of off-duty salvagers, vac suits unzipped and rolled down to expose stained vests, grubby mods, a lattice of scars and tattoos. They discuss the best food on the eye, the best drink, comparing notes on bright market dives, their words cut through with heavy spacer slang. Eventually, it's your turn, and you shuffle to the front. Emphas speaks in a deep, even tone, without looking up. First try is free. Let's thank him. The smell is almost unbearably strong as he cooks, the earthiness of the fungus laced with something so spicy the smoke makes your eyes water. The heat from the burner is like a bonfire, and your skin hardens in its glare. I know you sleepers, Emphas says while he cooks, his voice deep but clear. A hard life, a lot of stories. He glances up from beneath his cap with piercing eyes. I know. Tell him a story. You begin to tell him about your journey to the eye, and he nods as he cooks, his eyes never leaving his work. You tell him of the confusion, the pain, but also the sense of possibility and its sudden arrival. You tell him of the cold and dark of the container, and the endless cycles spent within it. Now it seems you tell him like some dream that you once had but can never forget. You tell him that the eye excites you and scares you, and you're unsure where to walk, where to look, what to do. Eventually you tail off, running out of words. He places a plastic tray of steaming fungus in your hand. Next time we can talk some more, he smiles. But next time, you pay. He slams a heavy hand against a button on the burner's side and it shuts off. The roar of the flame and its impressive heat fades. Next time then, sleeper. He waves you away and begins to oil the walk. Before you turn back to the alley, you notice the geometric patterns of circular scars across his forearm, each surrounded with a constellation of glinting pin marks. You walk away, and as you do, take a bite of the rich, spicy, delicately sweet fungus. Your taste sensors light up like a fusion reactor. You'll be back. Yay, food. And a new drive discovered as well. Get to know Emphas. Emphas loves two things, stories and food. Maybe if you supply him with both, you can hear his story. Nice. Alright, well, we're still waiting for that. We'll need 15 cryo to get food, and maybe that's not a bad idea to get ourselves all healthy, but, well, I guess we just need to keep fed. Like, it's this status, our condition, that is determining how many dice we have, so we need to find something that raises the condition. And I don't know if being full... Well, I know being out of food lowers it, but I think we're going to need to find... I think we're going to need to get Sabine's help to boost our condition. So we've got food. We've got food. Ort exchange. Ooh, that's new. Let's see. We could play the exchange. So basically, so the goal here is trusted trader. There's an old ship mine fabrication stack in the back of the market, but only trusted traders get access to it. Okay, so we could play the exchange. The flow of chits and components in the exchange is complex, but a sharp eye and some tight trades can net you a good margin, or we can sell components. The Ord exchange is always hungry for new hardware to buy up, break down, and sell off, and you're happy to supply it. So if we have scrap components, we could put them here and probably get some money and also build up our reputation. Neat. All right, but I think a good way to do that is also to help Dragos. So let's get to work on that. We've only got a 1 and a 2, so I think going with safe options is probably still the smartest play. Let's do that. Negative, dang. Got a little money, but you ache from hammering away at the scrap and most of it crumbles into worthless rust. You call it a day early before you injure yourself. Except I don't, I do it one more time. Might as well. Neutral, hey, all right, progress and money. And that's the day for us. Well, let's scoot through one more day. You get the idea though, right? It's a really cool concept and we're really just getting started here. I'm super interested to see how this all unfolds and the many different ways it can unfold as you kind of explore the ring and try to stay alive. Whew, boy. Again, the skeletal ring of the station fills your mind. It sparkles with glittering lights, like stars reflected in a winter lake. It's clearer, crisper than before. The threads still pull, but you remain in place, flickering in the flow. Between the threads, you see bright shapes, caches of shimmering light beneath transparent crystal forms. You follow the path of a thread across the ring, through these forms, and then leap off into the void. You begin to understand. These are nodes and connections, a map of information, of communication. There are so many layers, so many loops that it seems almost impossible to parse, but you begin to try. Let's focus on the nodes. The nodes are glassy, bright, but in all this flow, the only solid and fixed points. You approach one, a pyramid or a triangle, dimensions are difficult here, and lean close to it. Inside, shifting layers conceal a tangle of threads, a meeting point of exchange. But before you can glimpse any further, the glass clouds and hardens, cutting you off. The threads and nodes, passages and puzzle boxes, one leads to another. There's so much here, so many answers, so many questions. All you need to do is follow the paths and open the boxes. You look out across this ghost landscape of exchange and see an opportunity. But then that insistent tugging again, pulling at you. You look down again and see two lines, two threads pulling in different directions, as if they were tied around you. Let's try the second. The second thread leads in, pulling deep into the station. Your gaze follows it, and this time you see something. A sphere, shimmering above a strange, angular body. A pulse shoots out from it, passing over you like a torch beam, testing you, tasting you. What about the first? The first thread leads out, away from the station, into the inky black. Someone out there is tracking you, hunting you, following the thread to you. They're in a ship, and the ship is approaching ever closer with each cycle. That's not good news. You open your eyes. Time is short. We're being hunted now. Someone out there is tracking you, following your trail, and it won't be long before they arrive. But we've got some better dice this time. The cloud. Something has changed inside you. You can now access the data cloud of the Eye, a network of decaying protocols and data caches. While there, you can use dice and items to access systems and extract data. But be careful, these networks are old and strange. Click the I button at the top of the screen to toggle this view on and off. I'm curious. Very interesting. We should try that once, yeah? A Havenage agent, key node, Solheim gate. Yet again, agent. Let's not push our luck on that one just yet. What's closest to home? Let's try this key node. I am good at this. Data actions allow you to extract data from the networks of the Eye. They work like dice actions, but in order to unlock them, you must match your dice to the one displayed on the right of the action. If you have a +1 or +2 modifier in the interface skill, you'll be given more possible dice to match. You can use any dice that matches the dice displayed. Once unlocked, the data can be extracted. Interesting. So... Alright, so we need a 1 there. And I do have a 1, and I'd love to get rid of a 1. Alright. A lone connection feeds into this isolated node. Its last access timestamp is 1,000 cycles ago. Let's... bypass. Nice. got some money, and extract the data. Sweet. A stream of passcodes able to unlock the station's aging maglocks. Nice, alright. Could be handy. But back in meat space here. We are starving. We should get food. Let's order some food. Emphasis spiced fungus is one of the few things potent enough to stimulate your limited taste sensors. It's incredible stuff. Wow, I can still get like neutral and negative, or maybe it's always neutral outcomes with stuff like that. Your mouth stings as your sensorium sends warning signals over and over. This is the good stuff. But alright, not starving, baby. Alive. Let's see. Still got ample time before the debt is due over here. We could take a risky action here to become a dock watcher, and I think we shall. Havenage Security has to have plans. Stealing them would be the fastest way to get to know this place, and the most dangerous. You walk into the security office on a shift change and walk right back out with the plans moments later. Simple. Getting to know the Rotunda doesn't just mean new places to visit, it means keeping your eye on new arrivals too. Cool. Alright. So we've done that. Now this action's unavailable. Interesting. Okay. Maybe because we are a dock watcher now. Ooh. And maybe because we've done that, we've got access to a new individual. Hey, you. Want to earn a chit? Ankita stands beside a huge pile of tied-together hull plates. She stretches out her back, her shoulders bulging beneath her flight suit. Make it 2, please. Ankita laughs. This goddamn station. She sighs and pinches the bridge of her nose. All right, come here then. You cross the docking concourse as she begins to split the plating into 2 bundles. What is it with this place? She asks as she angrily lashes the massive plates together. Everyone wants their cut. She straightens up to an imposing height, her armor plates creaking, and looks you up and down. Or is it just that you all think I'm an easy mark? Hey, we all need to survive out here. Ankita softens. I get it. I do. She shakes her head. But if I could go just one cycle without some jumped-up grifter trying to take me for an idiot, then that'd be nice. Ankita hoists 1 bundle of plating onto her shoulder. Come on then, enough chat. You gotta earn those chits. You struggle to shoulder the plates, but you do, eventually. Ankita gives you a look. Ship's this way. And she sets off down a gantry at impressive speed. As you catch up to her, she turns down a passage, pushing through a small crowd of stevedores. Why are you doing this to yourself, or what's all this for? Oh, this? She nods at the plates on her back. I'm building a treehouse. She gives you another of her looks. It's for the ambergris, that cutter you might have seen sitting silent out there. She rapidly turns another corner as you trail behind. She got cut up pretty bad on her last job, and I had to moor up here for a spell. But since then it's only gotten worse. Someone got in and sliced the core from our ship mine, so now she's gone dark. She shifts the panels on her shoulder. The upshot is that I'm short 1 ship mind with a ton of repairs to do, and the rest of the crew signed off the moment they got wind I'd been stranded, so yeah, it's been a time. Anything I can do to help? I don't know. You got a ship mind tucked away on that frame of yours? For a moment, you aren't sure if she's serious. Ankita swings the plates from her back, almost knocking you over in the process. This is me. She hauls the 2nd bundle off your shoulder. You're the first person I met here who might actually be considered helpful. She pauses, chewing her bottom lip. Look, you want to help? Come see me. I need a hand putting Amber back together, and you don't seem like the type to try anything stupid. She passes the bundles of plates through the ambergris outer lock and then turns back. Just don't go spreading all this around. Ankita throws you a couple of chits. She gives you a parting nod and ducks through the doorway. All right, get out of here. she calls back, and the lock slams shut. We've made a friend. And also, things. Let's see. The overlooked bar, a grimy spicer haunt, let me try that again. Grimy spacer haunt, or a sealed dock. Interesting. Let's see. With the data we have, we can unlock the maglock here. Unsealing it. 2 maglocks seal the entryway to this dock. It doesn't look like anyone's been inside in years. Well, we're only doing one more turn here, so we don't have enough of this to get through there currently. Let's see if this key could go to some other purpose. Here we can get a drink, or buy rations, also good. Let's see. The Overlook isn't exactly a restaurant, meaning the only way you'll gain trust around here is with a stiff drink. But in doing so, that could have its benefits. Neat. So what other options remain to us here? We can try to become a trusted trader. We've got several objectives we could pursue, including fixing the ambergris. Surviving really does seem like it should be the top priority still. For the moment. Does this mean there's a new thing to do? Yes, okay. We could try rewiring drones. Ankita has a couple of glitched repair drones in storage. If you can rewire them, they can repair the ambergris for you. Which would help to get it in good condition. Or we could try to do hull repairs, but the ambergris is in delicate condition. It'll be all too easy to push it over into a cascading collapse. So we could play it a little safer and risk things kind of breaking here. Well, I guess actually both of these, if we fail, risk the ship being grounded, but success could lead to ship shape, and I'm guessing going for more critical actions like this mean, since it's a critical action and not a repeatable one, I'm guessing success here would, if not instantly complete this, then very nearly do so. It would give you like a big boost, right? What was the other thing that was going to let us start getting, is it this? No, this is what we needed to pay toll. There was another thing. Playing the exchange, selling components. Maybe we only had access to it for like a turn. There was something I felt like that allowed us to start looking into getting... Maybe it was back here at the EA, well... There was something that was going to let us look into like a ship mind type thing. Assist a shipbuilder or hull materials. Out of curiosity, let's also see what other things we got here. So completing the sequence would probably get us another key to work with, which would be cool. What about some of these other things, like the Havenage agent? A Havenage member is broadcasting on the open network from here, leaving them open to data extraction. Interesting. It's cool that these require a specific die, which is kind of cool. It means that there could be a good place to put a low roll, rather than just having to make do. The Solheim Gate. If you have data, input one Solheim cipher, and that could get you into something cool. This game is rad. Like, for as simple as it is mechanically, as a narrative game with like all the choices available and stuff like that, this is awesome. I wonder if with a big success here we could get our buddy back in business. Let's try it. Oh, come on. There we go. Well, we got a 50% chance of very good. Neutral. Just one. Dang. Alas. Well, you get the idea, though. That is Citizen Sleeper, and it's very cool. Highly recommended. It's on PC. I know it's also on at least Switch. I think it's also on everything else, but highly recommend if you're into narrative games or sci-fi, because this is, like, honestly, so far, like, the writing in this is really strong. I'm enjoying it a great deal. But yeah, thank you very much for watching, and I will see you next time for something else. Goodbye!